Will from Fallow here. I'm super excited to announce the first launch of our merchandise. Got these absolutely banging t-shirts. Stunning artwork on there from my personal childhood hero, Stephen Bliss, aka the guy behind the GTA artwork. So super cool. It's with a lot of pride that we found a company up in Manchester, top of the range cotton, and a mixture of seaweed as well. So it's 30% seaweed, which is awesome. Really, really good for the planet. And they're all produced and designed in the UK, which is super, super important to us. For you, what was the inspiration to put seaweed in originally?
So I first came across seaweed through one of my podcasts, and when I learned that there was a fibre that contained seaweed and you could actually turn it into clothing, I was like, we've got to do this. I didn't see anyone in the UK who had already done it. And then when I looked into the kind of contribution factors of seaweed in terms of the climate crisis and how much carbon it sequesters, I was like, this is insane. Hardly anyone seems to know about it, but it's such a big resource. They sustainably harvest the seaweed in Iceland, so it's wild grown. It's not like cultivated in the fjords of Iceland, and it's like almost like a combine harvester, but on the sea. So it goes along the top of the seabed and it just cuts a few centimetres off the top of the seaweed, the tips of the seaweed, so the seaweed's never ripped up or disappears or whatever, and it also is allowed to grow back after 4 years.
So what they'll do is they'll harvest the seaweed, dry the seaweed, and then they'll macerate it to produce a bit like a flour, for want of a better way of describing it. And it's designed to recreate something like cotton in a natural way. It's absorbent. It's giving the same type of attributes that cotton gives. Unlike polyester and synthetics that don't absorb moisture, aren't comfortable and are plastic based, it's at least cell based. So the seaweed is mixed with inside that cocktail or that recipe of other cellulose materials, and it comes to us as a fibre that can mix directly with the cotton.
Is all cotton look the same from around the world?
No.
They're all like different colours, shapes?
So it's, with one big exception where they're starting to do some genetic modification of the cotton seed itself in India, where you can start getting some pastel shades grown. It's all whitish-ish. Now, that whiteness, a bit like my non-existent hair, if I'm in the sun, it bleaches it. So there's no dyeing that, it's been scoured and cleaned. So that's how the mix of sea blend and cotton together produces that type of colour. This is a white, it'll have been bleached. So we're taking raw cotton from the fields of either USA, Australia or India, directly from the farm. So we don't buy from traders, we buy directly from the people that are growing the product. Bring it here and then we'll clean it and prepare it ready for spinning in this room. Like all product in the world, you've got really expensive stuff. So the stuff from Barbados is $11.55 a pound. Very expensive. Your t-shirt would cost £300, to give you an idea. At the cheapest end of the market, which is low-grade cotton, immature, very short staple. It's not great for apparel, but it might be fantastic for non-woven fabrics or insulation material. 35 pence a kilo. The shorter the fibre, the heavier the fabric has to be. So the fibres that we buy, we're able to produce bed linen from them, shirts from them, trench coats from them, as well as t-shirts.
What was your average wash out of a t-shirt
lifespan?
So
we expect that the print's going to fail before the fabric is going to fail, and we'd expect 200 washes out of the t-shirt.
What's the standard lifespan of a t-shirt?
Well, the world average is about 4 washes before it gets destroyed. Because it involves the t-shirts that are completely disposable. You'll wear them for a gig or an outing or a run or a hen night or a stag night, and you throw them away. And it also involves the whole of the fast fashion market, where disposable fashion people are saying, right, I want that, I'm going to this thing on a Tuesday, and then don't wear it again. So when you have bales of cotton, each of these bales, it's normally about this high, and it's got an individual bale number, and then you can track that back, not only from the farm, but independently of the farm. In this room, we mix this cotton 360,000 times to make sure we get that consistency. So if we're mixing it that much, hiding away a little bit of low cost, low grade, a bit of grey market, not quite sure it comes from cotton, is relatively easy. T-shirts now on the open market are cheaper than they were 10 years ago. How? And the truthful fact, it's gone lower by, as a part of removing the quality and the traceability and the openness of the raw material, whilst keeping poverty going and making sure that they're continuing to put pressure on cost in markets where poverty exists.
So yeah, the labour suffers.
Yeah. Now, once again, we're actually talking about exploitation, aren't we? Talking about poverty and exploitation. And in actual fact, in the Caribbean, they were enslaved to do this in America some 3 or 4 generations ago. So still that goes on. Hand picking of cotton still continues in China, still continues in some parts of India, still continues in some parts of the Caribbean. We don't get involved with that primarily because of the exploitation of the people. Yeah. So hence the reason why we choose very carefully the farm to make sure that their ethics and their values about how to grow the cotton, how to do that ethically and sustainably, how to make sure they're looking after the land and doing that effectively, and more importantly than all that, also not exploiting their workers. So we've got complete openness of where it comes from. All right. So that gives you an idea in certain other parts why you can get T-shirts at low cost. But if I'm putting a low cost quality, low cost grade here, whilst I can produce you a T-shirt that looks great out of the bag, you wash it and it falls apart. Yeah. So across the world, we're one of the most productive mills in the whole world because we've got the best equipment in each of the processes. Albeit now it's 5 years old, there might be a mill that's bought end-to-end new. So all of this is the world's pinnacle.
Why did you specifically choose an old mill? Was it a little bit of the nostalgia history side? Because obviously an old building is not well suited for the level of pristine.
So before we started the cotton side of our business, we were already in the spinning environment in the mill next door.
Okay.
So from a 1970s equipment, spinning high performance yarns for PPE. And the key to that is that it is about the community. It's about the people. We had 45 people spinning 1970s equipment that together had over close to 1,000 years worth of experience. You can't buy that.
No, that's very finite.
And we were the last short staple spinner. So if we were to, okay guys, we've tried our best, we'll just take this to India and we'll get it done and we'll pay a lot less money for doing the same thing. Well, you lose that process forever. You lose that capability forever. We're business people. We want to make profit. It's important, but actually the people are important. Yeah. I'm from this region, and as I say, we're walking past 300, 400 mills in Manchester. It's a part of our life. We are the last and only cotton spinner. There's still about 30 or 40 that are weaving inside the northwest of the UK. There's one mill in the centre of Manchester that's still making clothing, a company called Private White VC. Northern quarter of Manchester's full of mills. Loads of habitation in Manchester. Or if you're actually coming out of town into the other areas, they're generally places like storage.
My first job was a box factory in a mill in Radcliffe.
We're producing more shit garments to then put into storage in the mill that used to make the garments 25, 30 years ago. It's just ridiculous. Yeah. There's studies that say that per capita we're spending approximately the same on our garments and buying 4 times the amount. How? So Terry is our very experienced cutter. So in here Terry would lay out fabrics on one of these cutting tables. Now it takes Terry about an hour to lay the fabric out, put the patterns on the top and cut the table out. Now it's the same hour whether that's just 1 or 2 layers, because actually the laying out doesn't take too much time at all. It's actually putting the patterns on and then cutting around it. So the key to it is when people say to us, how expensive is a T-shirt? And we go, how long is a piece of string? Because it's how complex is a garment. Because ultimately all you're paying for is time. Yeah. Yes, you're paying for expertise like that Terry's got, but people don't get the concept of saying, yeah, but I only want 21 T-shirts. You can have 21 T-shirts. You can have 5 T-shirts. But what you'll actually pay for is you'll be paying for Terry's expertise for that 1 hour to cut those 5 garments. Now, at the same time, he could be cutting 500 garments. So when brands like yourself start to grow and there's more volume, that's the reason why actually you can get better prices, primarily because we're taking less time to be able to sew the garment.
My background's actually design, so I was running a design agency in Manchester in one of the mills just around the corner actually. And when the Manchester bomb happened, we did a charity T-shirt at the Manchester Bee, which you may have, the iconic Manchester Bee. So we did a bee T-shirt, and because I'm like my background's outdoor, I'm a surfer and knew about materials and wanted to use organic cotton in a T-shirt, I sourced an organic cotton T-shirt, and this was like, what, it's 6-7 years ago. I sourced where to get a T-shirt made out of recycled bottles and organic cotton, did it in America. I learned about seaweed and the seaweed fibre. My journey has always been like to try and contribute to solving the climate crisis, and as I've learned and as I've gone along and come here, you actually learn to the extent of like how big the fashion industry is and what needs to be done. And I believe like the UK we can lead the green revolution in places like English fine cottons and do it the right way. We've got a chance now. We're at the very beginning of doing it in the right way, and through guys like you, it makes it possible.
This was a long process for us.
Yeah.
Most restaurants just design a T-shirt that says their brand, and they put to sell them for 10 quid. We had 3 quotes. The first one was £7.50, then the more premium was £11.50, and then now this one is, not even going to say how much it is, but it's a lot more than that.
Yeah. And
can kind of understand why.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
The process that goes into it, the material that goes into it, the people behind it.
It's almost like an investment
of
clothing. It's not like you are gonna just wear it once and throw it away when it's like costs 5 quid.
You buy cheap, you pay twice.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Click the link in the description to buy the T-shirt now.